Hey, I'm Emma Garlett, and on today's episode of Paint It Blak, I'm going to explain the role of investment funds and government in the future of ESG investment decisions and why business and federal government support is crucial to changing the future for First Nations people and Australia. Don't forget to click on the bell to receive more Paint It Blak. Now, let's get into it. As Aussies, we share a spirit of larrikinism. We enjoy a cold one and a cheeky barbie, maybe even the occasional lamington if you've been good. We're a country that celebrates mateship and having a go. Another thing about Aussies, we want our kids to have a better life than what we had. And no, I'm not talking about it in a monetary sense. We already know everyone wants their kid to be cashed up. But life is more than money. It is about connection, community and collaboration. This is a recipe for a truly happy existence. Sometimes I think we all don't realise how much power we have together. Shareholder activism is on the rise and it is delivering positive impact. The demand for environmental, social and governance or ESG action is loud and clear, and First Nations people need to be brought along for the journey. So, what is ESG investment? Environment, social and governance investing is used to screen investments based on corporate policies and to encourage companies to act responsibly. Does the federal government care about how ESG investing decisions are made? When it comes to socially responsible investing, investment funds should ensure the companies they invest in are contributing to changing the narrative for First Nations people. This is justice and effective financial compassion. Society wants justice. We have seen small steps towards justice for First Nations people. The 1967 referendum allowed Indigenous Australians to be counted in the census, and the apology to the stolen generations in 2008 were both steps in the right direction.
As Prime Minister of Australia, I am sorry. On behalf of the Government of Australia, I am sorry.
So, what is the next step in the justice game? Well, I reckon it is this. The benefit to and impact on First Nations people must be a key consideration for investment fund managers when deciding what companies to invest in. This should be a key factor in their ESG investment decision-making process. Why? Because you can't improve what you don't measure. It is simple. The shareholder conversation has changed from what it was 5 years ago, and from what I have seen, annual general meetings have turned into an intervention to combat and plan for ESG concerns. Businesses are going through a transformational period. They are focusing on mitigating climate risks, preparing for the renewable energy transition, and are ensuring businesses' operations are in line with human rights principles. At its core, these are all big strategic decisions which are needed to grow business profitability while operating in a changing environment. We need to make decisions now to predict what will happen in 5, 10, or possibly even 20 years' time. More importantly, businesses should be about relationships, not about money. It is about people, and we must ensure that our First Nations people have the space and the power to participate in this process. Movement in this space is inevitable. Federal and state governments need to be bold and decisive. It is my opinion that it is only a matter of time until the federal government will endorse an ESG reporting standard and metric, but it must include the need for companies to report on action taken to achieve positive outcomes for First Nations people. Disclosure and transparent reporting will drive change. Frankly, if the federal government doesn't include this, then they will be contributing to the continued displacement of First Nations people in Australia. I have faith in the new federal Labor government to do the right thing. We have seen the power we hold when we band together. We can spill boards, force change, and make companies operate in ways which support our future. I mean, look at what happened to ExxonMobil when hedge fund number one shook the company. It is even happening at home in Australia. We had AGL face the wrath of billionaire Mike Cannon-Brookes. I wouldn't be surprised if we continue this trend. And I expect it if companies don't act ethically on the front foot. I am certain investment funds see the value in ensuring the aspirations of First Nations people are met in deciding with whom and where to invest. I mean, come on. We don't want another incident like Duke and Gorge. We need to act ethically and change the nature of capital markets for our future generations. Our investment fund managers should ensure their sustainable investment products are supporting the aspirations of our First Nations people. This is an ethical situation we are dealing with. If we don't consider the impact or benefit to First Nations people in investment decision making, then First Nations disadvantage will drag on for another generation. We need to ensure ESG investment standards and metrics measure positive outcomes with First Nations groups. This will facilitate collaboration, drive connection, and will foster a safe community. If we do this, the Australia we pass down to our grandkids will be an asset, not a liability. There will be justice, and our kids will have a much better life than what we had. After all, there is enough to go round. As men at work would say, I come from the land of plenty. Thanks for watching, and if you're enjoying this, don't forget to like and subscribe to Paint It Black. Have a good one.